Mr. G, we're here at Memorial High School. We got a very special guest. We got Xavier. He graduated. What year did you graduate?
2015.
2015. All right. And so he was in my class, and I'm so glad he came back. Looks good, right? And yeah, he's like twice the size now. It's awesome. And where's your project? Did we put it back? He did such a cool project. I think I broadcasted it the other day. He did this cool project where I asked him to make a tool holder. Do you remember doing this project?
Yeah. The first project was to create a way to hold this little air hammer.
Uh-huh.
I made a video of how to use the air hammer.
Right.
And we used a QR code that directed you to that video. So now I graduated 2 years ago, and students still come to this tool holder and they say, how do I use this air hammer? They scan the QR code, they find out how to use it, and then they know where it belongs back when they're done using it, correct?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, I looked for the video the other day.
Yeah.
And it's not there. We got to like re-update or something.
Yeah. Because I haven't used that email account anyway.
Ah, okay.
So childish email account.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I'm so glad he came to visit, and I'm glad we're talking about this project. Actually, someone's working on a new version of that coming up for another tool we have. But you studied some with me. You did a couple years with me, or how many years?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. We did what did you do? Small engines.
Yeah,
What kind of stuff did you do with me?
Small engines. We did all the types of drawing, isometric, orthographic, some spot welding, and just individual projects like these, like just crafting things out of cardboard, wood, things like that.
Okay, cool. Now, and then you've gone on you graduated high school, and then you went to, where'd you go to, Hudson?
Right. Yeah, so I did my first 2 years at Hudson for engineering science, and now I'm at NJIT doing electrical engineering.
Okay, engineering science. So is that mostly theoretical, or what type of stuff do you learn at Hudson?
All theoretical, really.
Okay.
It's all just numbers, the science behind everything. Because it's not what they call a technical course. It's in engineering science, so it's all theoretical.
Gotcha. Okay. And how did you enjoy Hudson?
The theory is interesting to a point, but the numbers, they just get to a point where you want to stop.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So then you went from Hudson, and then you went to NJIT.
Yeah, now I'm at NJIT.
Which, by the way, congratulations. That's a big step up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's a big difference too. If Hudson was theory, NJIT is theory on steroids. No, but basically the same thing. I just found out we just get more technical, more hands-on, like on our senior year. And we start doing the same things that we're doing here in Mr. G's class. We do on our last year, our year before becoming real professionals at NJIT.
Okay. So now, you're not the only one that graduated from here and went to NJIT. Adrian Lopez and Yasa Evo, and I've heard similar stories. And I went to NJIT to check stuff out, and what I did was I noticed that there's a lot of, if you're in the major, it's very theoretical, but they do have clubs.
They do.
So they have like a racing club, and they have a robotics club, right? But if you're not in the clubs, then it is just theory.
Exactly.
Right.
You have to look for the hands-on work. They don't hand it to you. They don't. And it's just
So you could go get it,
right,
but it's not going to be required of your regular curriculum.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's most colleges.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So let's see. Like now, let's say a current student was watching this video, right? Do you have any general advice you'd want to give or anything like that?
Definitely.
Let me turn the camera for a second.
Sure. So if you're a current student, I'd say everything you do, create and document it, because at the end of the day, whether it's a school, you want to go directly to work, that's what's going to get you the job or to the school that you want to go to. I got very involved into basic circuitry, low voltage things, and now with my father and I, we started a low voltage service company where we do cameras, alarms, intercoms, and whatnot. And I did it by first doing it, documenting it, showing people that I do this, and then they started paying me for it. Not only that, but for example, if I wanted to get into this racing club at NJIT, I can show them my circuitry background.
Right.
And that's something that will be able to get me into that club. And also, since I'm becoming an electrical engineer, I'm working on an internship in the MTA for their electrical engineering department, and they'll love a person like me that has low voltage experience. So first thing is to create and document everything that you do. Many people, they're not creating, or they're documenting but the wrong things. You're documenting the party you went to on Friday, but no, you got to document your interests, document the things that worry you about the environment. Document these things and ideas. You'll keep getting more ideas, and people will, trust me, people will find things interesting. Your idea is interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question just to follow up. You said low voltage.
Right.
Now I think of 12 volts, but I don't know what does low voltage mean?
Well, low voltage is anything that comes inside of those high cables you see coming from the poles. So that's typically anything under 120.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, because anything over 120 will probably kill you.
Right.
So that means that's literally everything that's in your house. The cables that are running in your house, the charger you use for your phone, the power cord for your TV, that's low voltage.
Okay. Now, just to give some of the context, a car runs on 12 volts, okay, but a lot of amps to start the engine, okay. Amps and volts are two different things. Basically, real short, amps is the pressure, and the voltage is the pressure, and amps is the amount. Right.
So this is voltage will be the tube, and the amount of amps, it's what's going through it to flow through that tube. So this is voltage. These are the amps going through. Right.
Right. Okay. Right. I came up with a kind of a fun analogy.
Really?
Okay. Oh, you want to hold it? Yeah. Perfect. Make sure you don't push the thing. Okay. You come closer because otherwise the sound's not good. So stay like right here. Okay. Perfect. All right. We got a filmer. All right. My arm is getting tired. All right. So I got a funny thing. Okay. Check it out. So. Think of a plate of food, right? Okay, so a plate of food, imagine it was a plate, but you only got this little tiny little dessert, and it was like sweet tart sugar, and it tasted amazing, but are you full? No. That's high voltage with no amps. That's like static electricity, right? But then what if you get a big churrasco steak, right? I'm vegetarian, but what if you got this huge plate of food, but it didn't taste very good? That's 12 volts on the car with a lot of amps. So there's a lot of amount of food, but the pressure's low. I don't know, does that work?
Yeah. It works.
Okay. All right, well, basically, I'm so glad we're doing this interview. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. I hope you guys can hear it, but, some of the things that we do here is, the documentation we talked about. Let's see, I don't know, what else should we mention? What are some of the things that you would wish you learned here before you left? And you obviously can still. I don't mind when alumni stop by. I think it actually brings value to the program because then other students get to meet alumni. You can make good connections. But is there a tool or a process that you wanted to learn before you left?
Let's see. Before leaving here,
Yeah.
Coming straight to mind, maybe how to use the machining tools. We just glanced over the machining tools over there, and really you can create stuff, like we said, engine blocks from scratch.
Right.
How to create from scratch. Many of the things that we use, usually it's, or we work on, are on things that are already created that we're working on top of. So I would have liked to work on the machining because it's really building something from scratch.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So when he says machining, just so you guys know, if you don't already know, we're talking about the mother and the father of all the other machines, which is the mill and the lathe. And the milling machine makes stuff that holds things, like an engine block would hold all the parts and provide holes for turning. And then the lathe is anything that's round, so your piston would go in there, something that's round needs to go through the lathe. Okay, something else that I asked you about before, but I want to talk about it again is, when you're in a work environment, let's say a production line or manufacturing, or you install security systems, right? So if you install security systems, I mean, even if you're mowing the lawn, basically, like, or plowing snow or something like that, if you're doing a service, the customer expects something in return for the money, right? But in an environment like this, where it's a school where you're learning something, I personally think that the value, the greatest thing about it is the process and not the end result. I don't even care if people don't finish projects here. What I care about is as long as they kept going the whole time, as long as they don't quit. So I just want to know your thoughts. Do you agree with me, and what do you think about all that?
Definitely, the process is something. I definitely agree with the process. I mean, result at the end of the day, you can have a really high GPA, and it doesn't mean that you're a genius. I came out of Memorial with a really high GPA, but trust me, I didn't know much. When I went to college, I was lost. Not only that, but now I'm taking a humanitarian class in NJIT, and there's no more tests in that class. There's actually it's just on a 1,000-point basis that they just give you work. They expect certain things from you, and if you finish the work, they know you know what's going on in the course. So really, they don't care about test grades anymore, things like that, because they know that at the end of the course, if you did your work, you know everything. So that's just a testament towards how the process is the more important thing now.
So how do they know that you did the work? You have to show the process. Is that what it is?
Exactly. So they give you, for example, I mean, it's a history course. So you just have to write, for example, 10 significant things, write a certain amount of words about the significant event, and if you're able to speak about it in class, so you're designated some time to speak about your 10 things. So if you're able to speak about it and elaborate on it, that means you know it.
So they don't test you on the memory of it like a test would be.
Right, exactly. Not only that, but then they take, so these significant events are chronological, no? So obviously, like, if you're able to tie things from your first assignment into your new assignment, that means you also know everything from the beginning. So there's no need for a midterm to recap on everything from the beginning, because you're talking about it all the time in class. Right.
Yeah, and so, obviously I told you that I agree with it, but there's no reason for you to just agree with me.
No.
These are that's his own feelings on it. That's how I feel about it too. I value the process of someone going through the steps. Like, you guys could probably hear in the background, someone's working on something right now. I don't care what the end result is. I just want to see that they learn how to make something. And really what I'm striving for, and I think the humanities class is striving for, is self-sufficiency. Right? So, if I test you on something, the problem with the test is that it's just basically testing your memory of in that moment. You could cram 5 minutes before, right? But in a project, if I see the steps along the way, you can make mistakes, and I value the failures. It's interesting that in a high school, the A is at the top and the F is at the bottom, and the F stands for, oh, you did bad, right? But if you read anything about Thomas Edison, he talks about failures are good. Why would a failure be good, right?
1,000 times he tried the bulb.
Yeah.
Right.
And so why would a failure be good? A failure is good because you're finding out 1,000 ways not to make the bulb, and then on that thousandth and one, you hit. And obviously, that's what they did. They tested multiple different types of light bulbs that would last. He didn't invent the light bulb, but he figured out a process that would lead their way towards a light bulb that would last. The problem was that they couldn't sell light bulbs if they only last 5 minutes. He got a light bulb to last, I think it was about 40 hours was the first one. That's a big deal. Now they last like thousands of hours. And with LED, forget it, it's lifetime. But back in the day, the light bulbs didn't last that long. The problem was with the vacuum and with the filament. They didn't use tungsten, they had the wrong filament. So failure to me is a valuable thing. And so that's what I do. So speaking of failure, here, come on in, right in the middle of the video. That's okay. Take a look right here. We're looking at a weld right here, and if this were the end result, and the person never got a chance to work on it again, I would say, yeah, this is a failure because there's lots of holes in the weld, right? And you see the holes. He's got a wide spread, but he's not filling in the gaps. That means the puddle got separated, okay? And over here, this is clearly a distance problem. You're either too far or you're moving too fast. You're not having a situation where you're building the pool. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what you did wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, now take photos of that, please. Now, I don't mind that he got that wrong, and I can see the student, when I hand it back to him, he's looking at it, he's inspecting it, he's trying to figure out what went wrong. It's practice is part of the process, so I'm glad you agree with that, and this is something I want to talk about a lot in the future. I think that for some reason the process is being devalued in just culture, and especially in an educational environment. I understand if you work at a manufacturing and you go buy a car, you want the car to work. You're not looking for mistakes. I get it. But when someone's learning, I think there's value in the failures.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree with that. No, I mean, I feel like the more he fails at that weld, I think he's gonna end up like retrying, and he's gonna probably be the best welder in this class coming out. And I feel like failure really is shunned. It's looked at really bad in high school. I mean, this is the only place that you're allowed to fail, and there's no consequences.
Right.
And you should be, if anything, you should be encouraged to fail.
So, and I want to make a distinct difference. Somebody might say, oh, the person didn't finish it. That's quitting.
Right.
That's different. Quitting is not valued. That's bad. Quitting is bad. But making a mistake and then looking at the mistake and figuring out what the problem is, that's investigation. And so I think that that's a valuable thing, So what do you got planned in the future? Give me like your 10-year outlook.
10-year outlook, okay. So,
and not a lot of pressure. I don't know what I'm doing in 10 years.
I've thought about it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not written down, but...
What?
Grandfather.
He said grandfather. What? He said I'll be a grandfather. Thanks a lot, man.
You haven't had kids, no?
Nah, I'm 40. I should have kids already. I don't know. I didn't do it. I didn't jump on the kid thing. I missed that wagon. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
We're watching too much TV.
Yeah, I was busy. I don't know.
Wow.
Well,
10-year. Let's see. So definitely, I'll be finishing NJIT in 2 years. And as I do that, I hope that the company, my low voltage service, my security company, would be growing. It's not only with me; it's also with my family. So as I go to school, my father and our technicians would be able to work on it. So I expect the company to have a bigger reach in all of northern New Jersey and more of Manhattan. And NJIT, I expect to come out of there with an electrical engineering bachelor's and be working at the MTA for at least a couple of years. The MTA has a lot of issues there. They're really they're really shunned upon too because so many problems with the trains and whatnot. So I want to be a part of that and a part of fixing the MTA really. That would give me some purpose in my engineering career.
Nice.
As well as building up my family company, and then eventually dedicating all my time to, we call it Zudi Tech. Zudi Tech is the name of the company.
What's it called?
Zudi Tech.
Zudi.
So like my last name is Zurita, so it sounds like Zudi Tech.
How do you spell it?
So Zurita is my last name. So Zuri Tech for technology.
All right.
Because
You got a website?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
It's ritaservices.com.
All right. Where are you guys located? Around here?
Yeah, we have an office in Jersey City,
Oh,
but
okay.
we're all over Hudson County.
You guys are mobile.
Yeah.
Okay.
So generally, I want to get into solar panels and everything energy transfers
Wow.
in the home. Because ideally, actually, my 10-year plan would be to create smart homes. To be able, we're already working on getting the breakers in homes to work with the Wi-Fi on an app where you can control everything from the breakers.
No way.
So like it would be like an attachment on your breaker
Wow.
that's connected to your router, and that way you're able to control all the lights. They have things like that. It's called like Nest. You're able to control the temperature.
Oh yeah,
from your
the
home.
temperature. It's like a digital thermostat. Instead of the old style was just like a mercury switch that would tip, and then the spring would react to how much humidity or heat was in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this would control all the lighting, all the surveillance. I mean, it's already out there. We just want to implement it a little more and really focus on the homes.
Wow,
on
this is
the security
great.
Homes, yeah. And I really want to work on that. And solar panels. People don't really know how easy it is to install solar panels. And they're getting cheaper and cheaper. So I think installing them would be a great service to provide, especially here in Jersey. In Jersey, there's so many incentives to get solar panels.
Wow.
So yeah, I want to be more involved.
Maybe I'll be your first customer.
Probably, hopefully, yeah.
Dude, if I buy a house, this is the way to go.
So I want to transition from
The sun is shining like every day, and it's all this energy. Why are you gonna pay someone else for energy when you could just buy a panel? You know?
They're cheap. Like there's ones that roll out. They're like $12. But one that's like 12 feet long. It's like $12. You get on Amazon.
Oh, keep talking, but guys, start to clean up. Take your after photo, right? Process photos, all right? And start to put the stuff away, all right? Do a good job of putting stuff away because it's Friday. Sorry about that.
Sure.
Okay.
So if you find the right connections, there's splitters you gotta buy, and then a battery grid. Like if you just YouTube it, know how to connect it, you can get it done, and it's something that's so easy. You get energy for free. But no, generally that's my 10-year plan. I want to transition my company, get the experience from the NTA to eventually focus on energy in the home.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Right. I thought about it. Yeah.
I'm so excited about that. I didn't, it's funny because that's what's great about doing these interviews, because you came in, we talked, we caught up, but I didn't think to ask your 10-year plan, and now I know that about you. That's great. I mean, I'm a huge Tesla and Elon Musk fan, and I'm sure we've a lot.
I'm getting a Tesla soon.
No way, that's awesome. We got to talk more about this. If you think about it, we were just laughing before the video about, in class, I used to have a flip phone back in 2015.
2 years ago.
I used to make fun of them and say, oh, you got your smartphone, but can your phone do this? And I would flip the phone open.
And you bring down your sunglasses, you always...
Like as if the smartphone is light years ahead of the flip phone. And imagine what a smart house would do. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then another thing about, imagine if your smart house was also, you got free energy from the sun. Are you kidding? That's like an amazing thing.
Now you mentioned that, previously we talked about advice to current students. It would be make a 10-year plan. Make a year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and make specific goals on how to get to your, in 1 year, what do I need to get done to be halfway there? Then from that halfway mark, all right, what do I need to get done to be a quarter of the way there? And just keep making incremental progress.
Wow.
Right, and then eventually you'll see yourself at that 10-year mark.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, should we end it here?
Yeah, totally.
Dude, thank you so much for coming in.
Sure.
If you're an alumni of mine, please give me a call. Come in, let's talk about stuff. And then also, if you're a current student, think about all the things you said. You can review this video. All right, I'm Mr.G. This is Xavier. What's your company?
Zurita.
Zurita. How do you find you?
ZuritaServices.com. I have all my contact information there.
All right.
And, yeah.
Give me the link. I'll put it at the bottom of the comments.
Totally.
All right. Thanks a lot. See you later.